Hi everyone. Welcome back to Tori's Craft. As always, this is Tori. Um, so I'm kind of working on my painting. You probably won't be able to see a lot, but I got a lot done. I think the last time I recorded this, I was on this section down here, and well, this section down here was basically blank. I didn't work on it at all, but I'm trying to get back into it. I have some things coming up that I need to work on. The only reason why I'm trying to get back into it because I took too long of a break, I would say. But it was a well-deserved break. Plus, I also had a lot of things going on that day. Well, that month, I should say. It's still going on. But, crud. And as you can tell, I am just all over the place tonight. Pick up these little bits that fell. So, here is story time. Let's start. Where to start at? Do you want me to? Hold on. Let me bring up my calendar. Alright. So, let's start August 7th. If you guys have been here for since the beginning of my channel, you guys would have known back in June, I believe, I was talking about a move. So you guys would know by now. I moved on August 20th, August 7th of this year, 2019. And let me tell you, we are still unpacking to this day, and right now it is still August 29th, even though August is about over. Yay. Sorry. This has been one of those kind of months where I'm like, can we be done with it by now? So yeah. So on August 7th, the reason why it was so stressful that day, other than having the move, is my mom had booked movers. And these movers were talked about by her friend and recommended by her friend. Which is all and dandy. You know, we were trying to go through the cheapest route possible. So we booked the movers. I don't know what company they are from or anything. Otherwise, I wouldn't suggest them for moving or anything. But we also booked a U-Haul truck because it would be a little bit cheaper to have the movers versus having the movers in the truck. So, because it's like, I don't know, Mom told me how much it would be per hour with the movers in the truck, and yeah, no. But it was a little bit cheaper just having the movers and us going to rent a truck. So we booked a U-Haul truck, and we had that booked for, I want to say, a couple weeks. And I had talked with my bosses about it. My main manager and one of my assistant managers, I talked to them about it. And I'm like, just let us know what day. We'll totally work with you and work around it. And I'm like, well, Mom's going to try to do it on the day I'm off. And that was August the 7th. That was in between my, at the time I was doing Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesdays, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then off on Sundays. So, and that was the best time to move for us. We had access to the house on the 2nd of August, and I had been coming up and back, back and forth between the houses. One, moving stuff in, two, cleaning. The first night that we had it, which was the 2nd of August, I came up here and there was still a lot of stuff from the previous owners. They was going to come back and get it. And so I just put stuff up in a nice little place, and I cleaned up what I could without pushing myself too much, which I actually ended up pushing myself a little bit too much because the following day I got kind of sick. And so I called in because there was no way. I felt like I was going to be visiting the bathroom all day. I was literally sick. And so Mom's like, okay, let's go up to the house since you're not going to work today. I'm like, okay. And so we took all the kids up on Saturday, 3rd. Mom spent some time in my 3-year little brother's bedroom painting. And I joined in for a little bit because, hey, what fun can we have, right? So, and then she had bought me some spray paint because there was one little section in one of my corners of my room that has a sun. And the reason why there is a sun in my room is because my room was the therapy room for little kids. The previous owners had special needs kids, just like we have special needs kids. And they made their 3-car garage into a therapy room just for the kiddos. And so I have kid theme paint up on my walls. And I'm like, I'm not a kid anymore. I don't really want that there. So I spray painted the ceiling where the part of the sun was at. And I got that done. Then Sunday after work, I think, I came up again and cleaned my bedroom. And that was the worst thing ever I could do. Sunday was the 4th of August. And there is an area in my room that is mildewy in a sense. There was water damage done in my room because my room has the hot water tank. And the hot water tank kind of like exploded, and so there was water damage. And the previous owners did have somebody come out to take care of all that stuff, but they didn't do a really good job. So a little area was exposed, and I was cleaning that area up, not knowing anything would happen. Well, Monday, I was at work for about 3 hours, I think. I had an asthma attack on Monday. I do have asthma, but the asthma is triggered with, not triggered, it's attached to whenever I cough. So I have a cough variant asthma. That's what I've been diagnosed with. And so anytime something that flares up my asthma, I start coughing. And we didn't know I was having an asthma attack at the time because it's been many, many years since I've had an asthma attack. And I was coughing for literally 2 hours. I kept going kept putting myself in a not ready status for phone calls, running back and forth to the bathroom, trying to do my job, but clearly not able to do it. So it was heck. 1 second. Sorry, I saw one of my cats up on the washer, which, by the way, my room is close to the laundry room. Anyway, so yeah, I had a pretty nasty asthma attack on Monday. Lasted for like 2 hours, just coughing and coughing and coughing, and it's like, oh my god, I feel so miserable. Don't know why I was coughing so much. And the reason why I'm taking diamonds off right now is because I have this like imaginary line. And this imaginary line goes to like right. Hold on. Come on. I just did it. Come on. Don't want to turn you off, but damn. There we go. I have like this imaginary line. But anyway, who really cares about that? Let's go back to the story. So anyway, like I said, it's been years since I had an asthma attack, and we didn't know I was actually having the asthma attack until the following day when I went to go see the doctor about it, because by the time I got to the urgent care, they was closed. So yeah, that was fun. Getting to the urgent care, and then all of a sudden the doors are locked, and it's like, damn it, I need a PC. So now we know that my asthma can flare up at any given point, and need to remember that if I'm coughing for an hour to 2 hours long, it is an asthma attack. It is not simply a coughing attack. Though I do have those too. I do have coughing attacks as well. So that was fun. So I wasn't able to finish out my shift on Monday because it just, yeah, was not great. Came back on Tuesday, even though I'm like, I really just want to get this move over and done with at this point. So when I came back on Tuesday, my assistant manager, he's like, okay, I need to talk with you. And so we talked, and he's like, okay, what's going on? You are calling in sick a lot. Do we need to downgrade your workload? What do we need to do? I'm like, workload's fine. There's no issues with that. It's just I have some medical problems, and to me, it's minor. And the reason why to me it's minor is because I have 3 brothers who have major medical problems, and so to me it's like, we can just blow it off. It's fine. I'll be okay. No worries, type of deal. And it isn't a worry at all. And he's like, okay, well, just checking in, making sure, because we really do want you to, work your hours and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry that I keep getting sick. It's just everyday life for me. So, and they're like, they, as a company, they don't really want to know your medical issues that you have, because they have to look at it as a way of like, are we going to have to be liable for it? That sort of stuff. So I'm like, okay, I am. I'm still keeping my doctor's notes just in case, because I've had a bad experience with another job, and that's when I was first diagnosed with sleep apnea. So in the middle of my sleep, I tend to stop breathing. That's fun. But anywho, so flash forward to the 7th. We get up, we're like, okay, it's time to move. We got really excited. We told the kids when we're putting them down for bed, we're moving into the new house tomorrow. Getting them so excited about the new house and stuff like that. And my 5-year-old little brother, I was teaching him to say new house and old house. And he would repeat me, be like, new house. And it was so cute. And then I was like, okay, you got to say old house. We're going to the old house. And it's like, new house. And it was cute. And so when I was putting him to bed, I'm like, are you ready for your own room? Because all the kids, they get their own rooms now. And he's like, yeah. He's so ready for it. He was so excited for it. And then we get everybody up, give them all their meds that they need for the day. And then we get, we're starting to pack up some more stuff. And about 9:30, none of the movers showed up. And so Mom texts the company, like, okay, where's the movers? Nobody showed up yet. And we need them for the move and stuff. And so about 15 minutes later, somebody contacts Mom back and tells her that one of the movers that was scheduled to come and help us move hurt his arm the night before and didn't tell anybody until they checked up on him. And it's like, okay. So, and then they wouldn't have any fresh movers until 1 p.m. And Mom's like, okay, as long as I have movers today, that's fine. Because we're moving today. And so I'm like, okay, let's just load up the car and I'll take a load over while we're waiting and stuff like that. And so the car is not even, I think I took one load over. I don't know. I can't remember. But I remember that the car wasn't even fully loaded. I was taking things out and taking breaks in between because yeah, my bones are getting old. I'm not going to say I'm old because I feel as young as I want to feel, but my bones were hurting. And so I take many, many breaks just to be able to continue on. And so about 12:15, 12:30, one of the movers shows up. Actually, no, back up a little bit. I want to say around 11:30 to noon, my mom gets a call. And it's from one of the movers. And he said that we called in and canceled the job. My mom at that time, she's frantic. She's like, no, I need you. I have heavy stuff that I can't move on my own. And I need you. And so they're like, okay, we're on our way, blah, blah, blah. And he tells the other mover that, the job is still on. So at this point, we're just really frustrated and stressed out. And it's like, you guys were supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. But one of your movers didn't decide to tell you guys he hurt himself until the last possible moment. And then we have to get placed with other movers, and then you guys want to cancel our move, or say that we're canceling our move. And it was stress that we didn't need. So they finally get there, one at a time. And I'm like, okay, dude, since your buddy's not here, let's hurry up and get this car packed up. And then you can get all the heavy crap. And so the other guy comes, and I'm taking loads after loads after loads into our little car. And I'm getting some help with the other guy too. And finally we finish packing it all full and stuff like that. And I bring it over to the new house and unpack it as quickly as possible. So that way I can go back over to the old house and take care of business there. And so eventually, after 4 hours of this, we get into the new house. All of our heavy items are in the new house. We still have stuff at the old house, which took me until not last weekend, but the weekend before, the 17th and the 18th of August. It took me until then to bring all the stuff to the new house, because I had a lot of crap going on, which we'll get to that here in a second. Let me go get a drink real fast. Okay, sorry about that. So the heavy items that we had was a washer and dryer, refrigerator, and an L-shaped couch, which I absolutely love. It's $1,000 couch though, so it's expensive. It's an expensive couch, and Mom had to do like payment arrangements with it just to get that expensive couch. So anyway, we got that moved. We had some heavy boxes, and some other boxes that were just like, I wanted the movers just to move. So got all that stuff done, and one of the movers, or both of the movers, I don't know which one, forgot the whatchamacallem, the legs to the couch. Most of them at the old house. So I had to hurry up and go over to the old house to go and grab them and grab whatever else really fast. And while I was gone, one of the movers like, okay, I've got to call my boss because otherwise we'll have to charge you for another hour. But we're going to stay to get the couch put back together. Now, mind you, during this entire process, it has been very stressful. We have been going back and forth to the new house, to the old house, the same day. And Mom had to go to the ATM to get money out because they wanted a cash deposit, which, I mean, it was only $40, but still, nobody told her she had to have $40 up front for it. The guy was one of the guys, not both of them, but one of the guys was, pushing a lot, at one point, while mom was at getting the money and putting gas in the car, he's like, I'll drive the U-Haul truck to the new house, the new location. And I'm like, no, because at that point, I made the reservation, and I was told by the agent, because this is my first time renting from U-Haul. I was told by the agent that whoever signs the contract is responsible for the vehicle, and whoever's driver's license is on file is the only one that can drive. Now, how true is that? I don't know. But I'm like, no, your driver's license is not on file, so you can't technically drive the U-Haul truck. And I was like, that's what I have been told, and you can just wait for mom. And at that time, he's like, well, maybe you can just drive it over there. Now, mind you, I have 3 medical needed children. They're not my kids, but my 3 medical needed brothers. He wanted me to either A, abandon them at the old house to drive the U-Haul truck to the new house, or B, load them up in the U-Haul truck, knowing that there is not enough room for all 3 of these kids, and they are all in wheelchairs. So they all have car seats. I got very, very pissed off with this guy. I'm already stressed enough because it's in the between of my work time, and usually I take Wednesdays as a day to relax and enjoy my day off, but we were met with a very stressful move, so I'm not able to relax. Then I'm also trying to figure out how I'm going to set up my office area and slash crafting area. So I'm just, at that point, I wanted to slap somebody, and he was close enough for me to slap, but I am respectful enough that I held myself and I presented myself in a way that told him I meant business. I said firmly, you will have to wait for my mom to get back. She's the only one that's allowed to drive the U-Haul truck. And after that second time, he stopped. And then proceeded to go on to a different subject. And he's like, well, I need to get a U-Haul truck. I'm like, okay. And he's like, do you know how much they would charge me for going to point A to point B? And he's talking to me about it. I'm like, no, I don't know how that works. I only know in towns, because that's all I rented was an in town. And he's just talking and talking and talking to me about it. I'm like, dude, they have a number. Just give it a call. It's like, it's 1-800-GO-U-Haul. It's on the website. So, and he kept talking to me about it. I'm like, dude, A, no. B, no. Don't care. So it was like a bad experience for me. And here I am. I'm trying to not only keep my 5-year-old little brother entertained, because at this point, mom took her phone with her and my phone was left in the car. So I didn't have anything to play for the boys to keep them entertained or anything. Plus, the 3-year-old was put down for a nap in my old bed. And I'm like, this is like really sucky. I don't know what was going on at that time. I don't understand why they were. not nice, or not professionally. You know, it's hard to it's hard to find the word for what I'm thinking. Um, but after we get all of the stuff here, and I run back and get the legs and get them out of the house, Mom and I like, oh, thank God we're done. And I'm like, no, we're not. We still have stuff at the old house I have to go get, or you have to go get, in between, my working hours and everything else that we got going on. Um, so now, after a while, from the 7th, well, from the 8th of August all the way to the 11th of August, um, any spare time I had was going up to the house and just grabbing stuff left and right. Just going up, grabbing, going up and grabbing, coming back, unloading it, um, until the 12th of August. Um, at that time, my mom, just to give you a background history on her, she has some medical issues. She had a knee surgery done and a neck surgery done as well within the same year. I think it was in the same year. Um, but she had to get her knees done because basically she was walking bone on bone. There is a disc that's in between the two bones. I don't know. Yeah, it's in between the two bones. And so when you walk, it like there's no it softens the movement in between, and it makes it a lot better. But over time of her being a nurse and working and up on her feet all the time and walking around and stuff like that, that disc started to deteriorate. And when it's deteriorating, she's essentially walking bone on bone, and so it was causing her a lot of pain. So she had to get that done, and thankfully it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So she is a candidate for a partial knee replacement, and that's where they'll go in and take the little disc and basically put it in between the two bones, so this way she's not bone on bone anymore. So essentially, that's a surgery down the line. And then the next surgery that she had, which is roughly around the same time that my grandfather passed away, because it was May that she had her surgery, and my grandfather passed away on May 21st from a surgery. He, my grandfather, broke his back basically, and they did an emergency surgery to get him comfortable. But my grandfather was stubborn and probably didn't even listen to the doctors and continued to do whatever he wanted, which made it worsen over the weekend. So he had to go to have a second surgery done, and that was just too much for his body. So he passed away on the 21st. I think about a couple weeks earlier, my mom had her neck surgery done at the same hospital, mind you. It's kind of weird. It's called a community hospital, and it's right down the street from us. So, mom's neck surgery was a very simple, non-complicated surgery that needed to be done. And the reason why she needed that to be done is because there was, in your neck, you have your spine, all that goes all the way up to your head. And down to your buttocks. But in her neck, there was 2 discs that were what was the? It started with an H. Can't remember. But essentially, just like her knee, um, they were just disintegrating as well. So they had to go in and they put, instead of like taking out a disc or anything like that, they went in, they saw it was actually worse than what they thought it was going to be. And so essentially, here's, let's say, this is one vertebrae and this is another. They essentially took a metal piece and screwed it in. So this way, over time, the 2 bones will fuse together. So that's her, was her neck surgery, which, also solved some of her other medical problems that she has. So yeah, my mom had a lot of medical issues. And during this move that we had, it was not helping at all. She sprained her foot for starters. And it's kind of funny because before we moved, we had carpets down on the floor because we had oxygen tubing running around the house. And mom is a trip hazard. She will trip over anything and everything. So we have to make sure everything is covered or taped down. So this way she doesn't trip over it and cause more issues for herself. Well, she had bought a pair of flip-flops one day while we were at the old house, and she's never really worn flip-flops for as long as I've known her, and I've known her my entire life. And this was the first pair of flip-flops that she ever bought herself. And so she was wearing those flip-flops. She went out to go check the mail, came back in, and sprained, I think it was her right foot. She tripped over one of the carpets. Like the piece that's underneath your feet, it went under the carpet and her foot went over and she tripped. One second. goodness gracious. I am so sorry. That was my mom. She was telling me my 9-year-old little brother's pump was going off. And then she wanted to chit chat with me. And it's like, I love you, Mom, but I still have a video being recorded right now. It didn't stop it. So, end result, we need walkie-talkies. Because it's like, she's calling me. It's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. But anywho. So, oh crap. Yeah, I thought that's gonna happen. Alright, give me 1 second. Repair on my canvas over here. Don't know. Yeah, you guys can't see it. So, one thing I found out, I don't like working with my drills going down. And what I mean by that, excuse me, what I mean by that is, right now my drills are actually essentially being folded downwards. And so whenever I put my arms up, it's just like a nightmare. So I might be changing up my layout here and actually having the drills go that way instead of this way. So this way I'm not messing them up and having to repair an entire row almost, which I've already had to do that once down here over this way. So yeah, fun stuff. Very, very fun stuff. Okay, so where was I? I think I was explaining Mom's medical stuff. Okay, so I think I explained her knee surgery and her neck surgery. So, since Mom has those surgeries done, and they were done in the same year, if I haven't said that already, during this move, she was up, walking around, moving objects, doing a lot of physical activity that she doesn't really normally do. She doesn't do a lot of walking anymore because walking it hurts for her to do it. And so, since this move happened, it actually, excuse me, it actually made all of that stuff come up and actually hurt her more. And so she had to find a way around the pain. That, and plus she's not really, she gets injections for her knees every so often. I think it's every 3 months or so. Not quite 100% sure on that. But, so she has to take a lot of breaks. And so essentially, I did everything. Like, I went back and forth to the house. I was getting all this stuff. I was moving all the stuff back. Doing all that stuff. And yeah. So on, I think it was the 10th. Hold on. I gotta bring up my calendar again. Okay, it was on the 12th. The 12th of August. I was feeding the 5-year-old that eats by mouth. I was feeding him, and Mom was going back and forth to my room. And finally, I knew something was up. I didn't know exactly what was up, but I knew something was up. She felt, I don't know, it felt like she was really ticked off, really ticked off about something, but she finally let it out. And she's like, okay, you know what? You can just quit your job, and whatever you do around the house, I'll pay you for it. And she's like, unless you really want to keep your job, you can work it on the weekends. And only the weekends. I need you Monday through Friday. And I'm like, wait a second, what? We had a conversation about this prior to the moving, but it's like out of the blue because mom is like, when we talked about it, she's like, she wanted more help with the kids and stuff like that. And I can understand completely. Don't get me wrong, I understand where my mom's coming from. But I told her, I understand where she was coming from, but I'm pulled in three different directions. I have the job that I need so I can pay bills, and I have school so I can get an education, and then I have family. I said one of the three things needs to give. There's not enough of me and not enough of time during the day for me to do everything I can do. And now this was a conversation before we moved. That's what I told her. I was like, I'm not willing to give up school. I'm not willing to quit the family. And she's like, but you're willing to quit your job. I was like, if need be, yes. But only if need be. Otherwise, I will keep my job so I can, do whatever I want. But also, pay bills if need be. Well, of course, pay bills. Hello, we have to adult. This ain't an adult-free life. But, anywho. So, and she's like, there's no way I can afford that right now. I'm like, okay. And so we were talking about other things that we could do, that essentially I would be able to help her with. Like, oh, crap. I did a diamond spill again. I don't know where it went. Oh well, who cares? I'll find it eventually one day. But anyway, so we were talking about other things that we can do, and we're talking about it in the future, like down the road. And so when she came up on the 12th from getting a box from my room and saying that to me, saying I can quit my job and then she'll pay me, it was like, wait a second, let's talk about this. I was like, I'll call in and we can talk about it. And so I did, and we talked about it. It boils down to the fact that mom was stressed out because the whole reason why she was stressed is she has to be at home at a certain time for me to go to work. And she doesn't like the feeling of being pinned down, which I don't blame her. I don't like the feeling of being pinned down, and I feel like I'm pinned down most of the time. So after, we're discussing about it, I had also sent a text message to my boss. I didn't necessarily quit over a text message. I told my boss that I needed to talk to her. And so, since she's in a different time zone, she's like, okay, you can call me around 4 p.m., blah, 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 time zone, which is about 2 hours ahead from me since I'm Central Standard Time. I'm like, okay, so I'll call you, we'll chit-chat around 6 p.m. my time. And so around that time, I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm going to go wait for my boss to call me so we can talk with her and, all this other jazz. And she's like, if you need to, just tell them I have a lot of medical problems, which is the truth. Mom does have a lot of medical problems. But it also boiled down to the fact that she was also stressed out, which, again, is completely understandable. So I was talking to my boss. Oh, okay, back up. So 6 p.m. came and gone. I'm sitting in my room for like 30 minutes and no phone call whatsoever came through from her. And so I'm like, okay, I gave her a call because probably, I misunderstood text. And so when she answered the phone, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know if I was supposed to wait for you to call me or if I was supposed to call you. And, she's like, no, this is perfect time. And she's like, what can I do for you? And I told her and I explained to her that there's a lot of stuff going on with my family right now. A lot of issues. My mom is having a lot of medical problems, and I need to be with my family more. And I can't necessarily give up my education, and unfortunately, my job has to be given up. And my boss, she understood where I was coming from. Now, mind you, since day one of being hired with this company, I have been open and honest with them. I have told them that I have medical needed brothers and that at any given time I could essentially get off of the phone because of these, because of a medical issue came up. So, and they're like, oh my goodness, she's like, I really hate to see you go. I appreciate that you, communicate with me on this and told me what was going on. And I mean, we talked about it for quite a minute. And so sorry, I got two cats that are growling at each other. Ooh, 1 second. Ay, and I have headphones on, and I heard that. That's strange. And I was talking too, and I still heard it. I can still hear it. These cats, they're gonna drive me nuts one day. Anywho, is that? It's either the wind or it's them hissing at each other or growling at each other. I can't. Or it's just me making up sounds in my head. Anywho, so I was telling them, I can't really, there's not enough me to go around, and I need to be more present with the family, and didn't really want to give up my education. Plus, I'm also thinking, what good would that be? Because I have X amount of dollars going to my education that I'm going to have to pay back as soon as I'm done with my education. So, yeah, that's, I don't want to waste my time with it. So it was one of those, can't really give that up. And I've got to, do everything I can do for whatever I need to do. And so she, she said that she was proud of me for getting my education and she understood where I was coming from. And we ended the phone call on a positive note. I said, maybe once things settle down, I'll come back and hopefully I can to work with you again. And so we ended the phone call at that. And I just, to me, it kind of felt like bittersweet. I was saying goodbye, but I also had to go put in my resignation letter to them so this way they knew I was quitting and I didn't mean it. And that way they had documentation of it. And so I sent that in and I went to go take care of the family and stuff like that and chit chat with my mom. And all of a sudden my phone rings and it's my boss on her personal cell phone. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab this because maybe, I didn't do the email correctly and she wanted to chat about the email. So I answered the phone. She was going, she was talking to one of the assistant managers that I have on my team about the situation, and both of them, they really do like me. They say that I do an awesome job with the customers. I'm helping them out. I'm listening to the customers, and I'm a good agent to have. And they're willing to fight for me, which blew my mind. Here I am trying to quit, and they're like, no, we're not letting you quit. And she's like, what can we do to keep you? I'm like, if you really want me, I can do maybe 4 hours on the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays only. I can't do anything Monday through Friday. And she's like, okay. And I knew for a fact I can do Saturdays. So no, it's like, okay, let me go double check with my mom. Make sure, Saturdays and Sundays is cool with her. Because, ultimately, when you're in a family unit, for me at least, when you're in this family unit, you want to make sure that you cover all your bases and make sure that you have what the person needs communicated clearly. So this way we know exactly which page we're on. And so when I walked back up to the living room, excuse me, sorry, having a lot of stomach issues lately. But anywho, when I walked back up to the living room, my boss actually got a taste of how chaotic my house is. When I came back up, my mom was talking with the nurse, and they were having a conversation. And my 5-year-old little brother, he was howling or hollering in the background, and I don't know what my 9-year-old little brother was doing. I don't even know if he set off any of his vents or monitors or anything like that. And anywho, it was kind of, to me, it's an ovary. Sorry, it's overstimulating to me, and I only can deal with it for a short amount of burst. And when I'm saying short amount of burst, I can deal with it for maybe 20 to 30 minutes, and then I have to excuse myself from the situation just to calm down, because it's a little bit too much for me at times. But anywho, so my boss got a taste of what my life can be. And so I talked with mom about it. I put my boss on mute and talked with her about it. Mom's like, yeah, that's fine with me, as long as you're not working Monday through Friday. That's the only thing. I can't have you working Monday through Friday. And I can work whatever hours I want on the weekends. And I'm like, okay. So 12 to 4 sounds good to you? And she's like, if that's what you want to work, that's fine. I just need you Monday through Friday. I'm like, okay. So I went back to my room. I'm like, okay, so I can do 4 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sundays, what I told my boss. And she's like, what time? I was like, okay, this is in my time, and and I told her Central Standard Time. It's my time zone. And I was like, 4 to 12, 4 to 12, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the times I can do on the weekends, because that's normally around the time that we put the kids down for nap, and we go and nap ourselves during that time. But so that's what I told her. Basically, that's around nap time. Even though nap time is technically over by 3 p.m., because my 3-year-old little brother, he needs his 3-hour naps. Otherwise, he's cranky. So she got me all fixed up, and she's like, is this going to be changing in a year? I'm like, no. This is going to be lifelong for my mom. She has a lot of medical problems. And this is what she needs me. Uh, this is what she needs at this time from me. And so she got it all situated and stuff like that. And um, I can tell you, this is a guess, but she literally sounded like she was grinning from ear to ear when she's like, I am not going to be accepting that resignation letter after all. I'm like, okay. And she just told me that I have a personality that they really like, and it's very hard to find in their employees. And it was because of the fact that I was open and honest with them since day one. Since I told them, hey, this is my family, this is what the chaos I go through every single day, they were more than willing to work with me on things. And so that, that blew my mind. But what really blew my mind was a week later. So I went through the entire process. I had Monday through Friday off that week. So Saturday the 17th and Sunday the 18th is when my first, my hours, well, my new schedule went into effect. And so on the 19th, actually, no, we found out around on the 16th, I think, that on the 19th we will be able to adopt and finalize the adoption of my third little brother. And so I'm like, I emailed them and I told them, hey, it's finally happening. Cross your fingers, do this and all this. And at the same time, I was finding out about my insurance denying me insurance coverage because, quote unquote, I make too much money. Which I'm like, what money are you guys talking about? I barely even make enough to sustain my every wants and needs. But anywho, so I told them that on the 19th around 9:15 in the morning, the adoption was going to be finalized. And so around when the 19th happened, I wasn't able to go because we had to load up kids for school. But mom got home. She introduced me to my new brother, saying he's finally home, finally has his new name, blah, 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 blah. I got a picture of of my brother being adopted by the judge. It was like an after adoption, after finalizing the papers and all that stuff. The judge will take a picture with the adopted parent and the children and congratulate you, stuff like that. So I sent that picture off to them, not wanting anything in return, not caring for anything other than, we're so happy for you, blah, 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 blah. The following day on the Tuesday, that 20th, they sent me my first ever edible arrangements. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so blown away about it. I'm so happy about it. So yeah, now you guys are officially caught up. I have a headache from heck, and I need to go to the bathroom now. Probably TMI on that one, but on the flip side, guys, I will see you guys next time and enjoy. So sorry about everything, but yeah, this is my life. Bye.